On the wedding night, they find it difficult to feel happy despite it being the most joyous occasion. A blue planet called Melancholia is approaching and threatens to collide with Earth, causing them to grapple with fear of the impending disaster. If you want to stay in the loop and receive more exciting videos, make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, and don't forget to like the video. The film commences with an initial 8-minute sequence that introduces the main characters and showcases various visual motifs, incorporating space imagery. These serene yet slow-motion shots effectively unveil crucial elements of the film. We witness Justine, Kirsten Dunst, the bride, consumed by deep melancholy while birds fall behind her. Additionally, there is a scene with a lawn featuring trees and a sundial casting two different shadows. Peter Bruegel's Hunters in the Snow, often interpreted as an idealized nostalgia, makes an appearance. There's also a portrayal of a non-existent 19th hole symbolizing limbo, and a dramatic collapse of the black horse in slow motion, representing an internal battle between ID and ego. Justine is shown being carried away by a river while struggling with her wedding dress. Finally, we witness Justine and her nephew constructing a magical cave moments before the collision of planet Earth with the colossal gas giant, Melancholia. The film then unfolds in two distinct parts. Part 1, titled Justine, depicts an ostensibly perfect wedding that sweeps Justine along, conflicting with her fragile inner world. This segment commences with an unfortunate incident involving an unwieldy, oversized wedding vehicle struggling to navigate a bend in the road. Justine and her husband Michael, Alexander Skarsgård, newlyweds, arrive 2 hours late for their own reception held at the expansive family estate where Justine's elder sister Claire, Charlotte Gainsbourg, and her husband John, Kiefer Sutherland, reside. During the arrival, Justine notices a remarkably vivid red star in the twilight sky, later identified as Antares by John. As the afternoon and evening unfold, we gradually comprehend that each character represents a metaphor. These metaphors are explored during the course of the wedding reception night. Justine's brother-in-law, John, symbolizes sacrifice, reflected in the wedding's cost, and adherence to societal norms. Dexter, John Hurt, Justine and Claire's father, is portrayed as hedonistic and self-centered, hindering any meaningful connection with Justine. Gabby, Charlotte Rampling, Justine's mother, is depicted as a sharp, ruthless, brutally honest individual whose pathological honesty leads to her expulsion from the wedding. On the other hand, Claire, Justine's sister, embodies order and encourages Justine to conceal her debilitating melancholy from her bland, affectionate husband Michael. This theme is accentuated by Michael's wedding speech, revealing his incapacity to handle such emotional honesty. In the wedding speech, Jack, played by Stellan Skarsgård, Justine's boss, embodies unscrupulous greed and excessive indulgence. He pressures her to promote a shallow and spiritually empty campaign based on a modern interpretation of Bruegel's painting, The Land of Cockaigne, which represents a mythical land of extravagance. Later, Justine opens a book and comes across this very image. During the crucial moment of the cake-cutting ceremony, both Justine and her mother independently retreat to their separate bathrooms to cleanse themselves from the deceptive social atmosphere of the wedding. At another point, Justine escapes from the wedding and, while observing Melancholia's impending collision with Earth, squats and urinates on the 18th hole, a symbolic act representing ultimate defiance against conventional success. Her boss's ambitious nephew, Tim, played by Brady Corbett, seizes the opportunity to exploit the situation and secure the tagline at any cost, aiming to advance his career. This task parallels what Justine had previously excelled at. However, Tim is ultimately fired for his failure to exhibit absolute ruthlessness. Recognizing her own complicity, Justine aggressively resigns. Unable to consummate her marriage with her clueless husband, she engages in sexual intercourse with her boss's nephew, who shares her professional mindset. He later proposes they start a business together based on their similarities, but Justine curtly declines. Consequently, her husband leaves. The following morning, Justine reluctantly joins her sister Claire for a horseback ride and notices that the bright red star has vanished. The second part, titled Claire, delves into Justine's relationship with her sister, Claire. It also portrays Justine's mental deterioration and subsequent reawakening as the inevitable collision with Melancholia draws nearer. The film then jumps forward several months, with John explaining that the disappearance of Antares was due to the newly discovered planet Melancholia obstructing the star's view. Melancholia, a rogue gas giant that entered the solar system from behind the sun, becomes visible in the sky as it steadily approaches Earth. John is excited about the planet's presence and eagerly anticipates the predicted flyby event described by scientists. The film depicts Melancholia's initial approach and its final collision with Earth, as depicted in the film through a brief visual representation. Claire receives a phone call from Justine, who informs her that she must come over to visit after leaving her husband. Shortly after, Claire arrives at Justine's place in a taxi, appearing hollow and devoid of emotions. Justine guides Claire upstairs to her room for her to rest and then prepares a bath for her. During Justine's severe and almost catatonic depression, her sister is unable to help her cleanse herself in the bath. Justine is so numb that even her favorite dish, specially prepared by Claire, tastes like ash to her during dinner. Before an event, Justine proudly declares herself as the only one capable of riding the black horse. As Justine's emotional state deteriorates further, her connection with the black horse becomes more distant and frustrating. The horse refuses to cross a bridge on 2 occasions. As Justine continues to unravel, her frustration intensifies, and she mercilessly whips the horse to the ground. Meanwhile, Claire grows increasingly fearful that the end of the world is approaching, despite her husband's attempts to reassure her that everyone will be safe. She turns to the internet and discovers an article predicting a collision between Melancholia and Earth due to the celestial body's movements. Justine confides in her sister, claiming to possess the ability to predict events with certainty, such as the number of beans in a bottle. She confidently asserts that Melancholia will indeed collide with Earth, viewing it as a positive occurrence, as she believes life itself to be evil. As the end draws nearer, their family butler, Little Father, mysteriously disappears. On the night of the expected flyby, it initially seems that Melancholia will only pass closely without striking the Earth. However, Claire realizes the following day that Melancholia is circling back and will indeed collide with Earth. The certainty of Melancholia's return to Earth contradicts John's belief in a safe flyby. Realizing his own fallibility, John tragically poisons himself inside the stable of the Black Horse. Upon discovering John's lifeless body, Claire releases the horse. Claire attempts to escape the golf course but encounters a frustrating setback when the golf cart malfunctions on the same bridge. She reluctantly returns to the lodge as the world begins its descent into chaos. Overwhelmed by the impending collision, Claire becomes distraught and suggests gathering on the terrace with wine and music. However, Justine, surprisingly calm yet filled with anger, dismisses the idea. To comfort her frightened young nephew, Justine assures him that they can find safety in a magical cave, a promise she has made multiple times before. This stands in contrast to her earlier statement during her deep melancholic state that there is nowhere to hide. The 3 individuals take refuge in the magic cave, which is a wooden teepee. Justine remains composed and resilient as the world experiences a stunning yet catastrophic end, finding a sense of harmony with Melancholia.